When the world is loud and voices pull you in every direction, there comes a moment to pause and listen. Not just to words, but to wisdom. Not just to ideas, but to revelation. This isn't just another talk. This is the beginning of something you can't afford to miss.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والثناء لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. After praising Allah Jalla fi Ula and sending salutations upon our Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam and proceed. I am extremely honored to stand before you all tonight. Tonight we've had an incredible day. We've dedicated a whole day to the Qur'an. We haven't made the Qur'an secondary, we made it primary. We made the Qur'an the center of everything that we do, centralizing the guidance of the Qur'an in our lives. We orbit the Qur'an, not the other way around. That the Qur'an goes from recitation to realization, from memorization to transformation, because that's the objective that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed it for. Tonight you've had wonderful lectures. You've heard Sheikh Walid, Dr. Walid al-Manisi, who told us about how to create reformers through the Qur'an. We heard from a Sheikh Dr. Abdullah al-Ujairi, who told us about how to really ask the right questions with the Qur'an and to think with the Qur'an and for the Qur'an to change our mindsets and the crisis of thought that exists today being rectified by the Qur'an. We heard from Sheikh Fadil Sulaiman how to reflect upon the Qur'an and that we must go back to the Qur'an for reason and truth. We heard from a Sheikh Dr. Suhaib Saeed the coherence of the meaning of the Qur'an. And then we heard from Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Shaybani how we make the Qur'an central in our institutions and our educational organizations. And then we heard about the crisis that we are going through right now. We all gathered here today from 10 a.m. to discuss the Qur'an whilst Gaza is burning, while our brothers and sisters for 2 years have been under bombardment. 2 billion Muslims on the earth and no one can do anything about it. We feel helpless. We feel like we are not capable of doing anything. But today the objective was to understand that the Qur'an, it is there to make that change within us so that everything around us changes. The reason why Gaza is burning for 2 years and nothing is being done about it because the Qur'an is absent, as we heard from Al-Muhandis Al-Ustadh Fidauddin. All of what we heard today, أيها الكرام, it is summarized in the lecture that Dr. Naif bin Nahar gave us, that we need to create civilization through the Qur'an. It has never occurred in our history that Muslims have gone through the state that we're going through right now. The last 100 years, we have never been in this state in our history that Muslims are followers and they are not being followed. We are following a separate civilization and we are no longer leading. We need to go back to lead. And in order for us to lead once again, the Qur'an must be that central book in our lives once again. It can't be a book that we just recite, we put on our shelves. It can't be just a book that we recite at the beginning of our gatherings, that we don't make it practical. We find it very strange that when we talk about this concept, because we seem, or it seems to us, that the Qur'an is a book that is foreign to us. There's a big gap between us and the Qur'an. But Allah Azza wa Jal tells us completely different. He tells us on the contrary that this Qur'an, it is hudan linnas, guidance for all of mankind. That every single individual, the Qur'an is meant to guide them. It's meant to guide them to that which is the most upright. But the objective, ayyuhal kiram, it is that I need to take it as guidance. And that's why when Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He says that the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, who's beloved to every single one of us, he's going to complain about us, his ummah. Yawm al-Qiyamah, he's going to complain to Allah Azza wa Jal. And the wording that Allah Azza wa Jal uses in the Qur'an, it is very specific because it's not random. It's showing a reality that exists. وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. The messenger is going to complain to Allah Azza wa Jal that, oh my Lord, my people, my ummah, they have taken the Qur'an, but at the same time they have forsaken it and abandoned it. That's what's happening today. We love to hear the way it sounds. We love to beautify our voices with the Qur'an. But its meaning is absent completely. And we do not even have the interest sometimes to even find out what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying to us. That is the crisis that needs to be rectified. Once that changes, everything in our ummah will change. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they were that generation who took the Qur'an as that book of guidance, who truly understood it. They deeply reflected upon it. They pondered over it. They contemplated over it. They made the Qur'an their guide. They were led by the Qur'an. They became agents of Allah through the Qur'an and the guidance of the Qur'an. And that is what allowed them to transform the world with the help of Allah Azza wa Jal, because the Qur'an is what gave them that honor, that might. And that's precisely what Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us, لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ كِتَابًا فِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Certainly we have revealed to you a book. In it is your might. In it is your honor. In it is your mention. Allah is mentioning me and you in the Qur'an. I like the English word reflection. The reason why I like reflection, it is because in English, reflection is that you look at your reflection in the mirror. You see yourself. Have you seen yourself in the Qur'an? Have you looked for yourself in the Qur'an? Have you looked for your answers in the Qur'an? Have you looked for the answers to your problems and the solutions in the Qur'an? Have you been one who's truly seeking knowledge from the Qur'an? Are you basing your decisions on the Qur'an? Are your emotions led by the Qur'an? Are your interactions being led by the Qur'an? Is every single thing that you do led by the Qur'an? Because that's how it's meant to be. I found myself in the Qur'an. It took me a while to find it. I read the Qur'an for many years, memorized it, spent a lot of time with it. But I think I'm starting to slowly find myself in the Qur'an. I don't think I'm fully there yet. And it's a journey of a lifetime. But what I found is that I found my description in the Qur'an. I found what I went through in the Qur'an. I found the reality that I have grew up in the Qur'an. I was born in the West. I was born in a place called Denmark, in a small city called Kolding. It's near the German and Danish border. Somehow I was born there. I don't know how. How does someone who looks like this be born in somewhere called Denmark? Aqdar. The qadr of Allah put us there. And then I spent the first 5 years of my life in that isolated, remote society, barely any Muslims there. I grew up there. And then I came to London when I was 5 years old. I found myself in this big city, hectic city. At that time, it was not like how Islam is today. Islam was strange. We had to hide a lot of our identity as Muslims. I was living two lives. At home, I was being given my identity, my sense of belonging, that I'm a Muslim and what I belong to. But I go to school, I go out to society, and I see a complete different world. It was like an identity crisis I was going through. I found that exact description in the Qur'an. Nabiullah Musa was born in Egypt at a time his people are being demonized. His people are being oppressed. His people have to hide their identity. His people are being transgressed against. His people are enslaved. That's what I grew up seeing. I saw what was happening to the Muslims in the media. That we are the enemy. I have to hide myself. I have to pretend that I'm not part of them. I have nothing to do with it. That's how I grew up, having to hide. And that's how Musa grew up. He grew up in the palace of Fir'aun, in comfort, like the comfort I grew up in London. He was safe whilst his people are being bombarded. I am safe while Gaza is being bombarded. I am safe while my Iraqi brothers and sisters are being killed. I am safe while my brothers in Syria are being killed, and in everywhere in the world. That's how Musa was. He grew up like that. And then that anger that he felt, that rage that he felt, he grew up with it because his mother raised him in the palace of Fir'aun, giving him a sense of belonging, his identity, who he is. He never forgot his roots. I was given that by my parents, my sense of belonging. I was taken to madrasa to learn Qur'an. I was taken to the masjid so that these values are instilled in me. Musa grew up like that. I grew up similar like that, like the majority of us. But that anger never faded away. But we all felt helpless. Musa felt like he didn't know what he could do. I felt the exact same way. Musa alayhi salam, as a young man, one day he sees an Egyptian man attacking one of his people. His first instance, it is that I need to defend my people. So he defends him and he strikes him and he kills the man by accident. He acted in a moment of impulse. He acted on impulse and emotions without strategy. And that is the majority of us, that the stage that we're at right now as Muslims, we have no strategy. We are very emotional. We have a lot of anger. We have a lot of rage, but we have no idea of what we need to do. We need to become strategic. And that's what Musa, he was not strategic. He acted on emotion. He acted on rage. He acted on impulse. He did whatever he felt. And then straight away after that, he felt this shame. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له. My Lord, forgive me. I have oppressed myself, so forgive me. So Allah forgave him. But that shame led to something known as death of self. He felt like he could not redeem himself after that. He left Egypt. فخرج منها خائفا يترقب. He left there in a state of fear. It's a lesson for me and you, that when we act on emotion without any strategy, the system, the oppressive system will remain and you will leave. The Muslims are there right now. The system that's oppressive remains. Whilst we scream, we shout, we focus on awareness, which is important, but strategy, it is what's missing. Musa had to leave Egypt to go to Midian to have a mentor who taught him strategy so that he could become that leader who learns how to strategize, who learns how to be forbearing, who learns how to not seek instant gratification, who is patient to get the result that he is desperately seeking, who's focused on the goal, who's working hard towards it, who becomes a reformer, who can lead to that reform, who does not only eliminate his opposition, but completely transforms the system, the oppressive system that is being used and is constantly going to be used if we don't do anything about it. What was Musa alayhi salam led by? Guidance. That anger inside him, that rage inside him, it led him, that fire inside him. After years of spending in Midian, that fire led him to a fire. Reframed his purpose. Go to Fir'aun, he has transgressed. Mission. What mission are we on? This whole summit, it's not just a lecture that we feel good after. It's about a mission. All the mashayikh that we heard today, it's all about a mission. Are we truly going to embark on that mission that we have been sent for? Are we truly living for Allah and for this ummah and this deen? Or are we just living for ourselves and our own comfort? Because that is what got us here. When we live for Allah and we understand that we are part of something bigger, bigger than me, bigger than all of us, something huge, that's when everything changes. That's when the shift occurs. We need to go from just being and focusing on being righteous people to being righteous reformers, agents of Allah. And that is what GGC is all about, the Global Guidance Center. It is about making that guidance of the Qur'an the center once again. It is about becoming agents of Allah Azza wa Jalla that are guided by the Qur'an. It is about leading by the Qur'an. It is about becoming those who follow the footsteps of those who preceded us, the prophets and the messengers who did this job. It is about creating that transformation. It is about building civilization through the Qur'an. And that is all what you heard today. This is a start. It is not the end. The summit is not about just listening to lectures. It is a start to what's to come. The Global Guidance Center is going to be offering trainings and educational programs to make this a reality for every single one of us. We need to learn how to do it. Every single individual receive that in their emails. We have your details. You all registered, right? You all registered, right? Did you give your details? Great. That means we all have your details. We're going to be spamming you. We're going to be spamming you with what we need to do. Our FSUs need to be united. The Qur'an is what unites us. Are we ready to embark on this journey? Raise your hand if you're ready to embark on this journey. Raise your hand if you're ready to take the Qur'an and lead by the Qur'an and follow the guidance of the Qur'an. Raise your hand if you're going to be one who makes the Qur'an the center of your lives. Raise your hand if you're going to make the Qur'an that book that transforms us and everything around us. Raise your hand if you're going to be one who is going to deeply learn the Qur'an. Raise your hand and make commitment to Allah Azza wa Jal that we are going to make an effort to understand the Qur'an deeply, reflect upon it, like we heard all day. Because I want us all to be those who take the Qur'an, lift the Qur'an, honor the Qur'an by being truly people of the Qur'an. And the people of the Qur'an are not those who only memorize it. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he says, Ahlul Qur'an humul amiluna bihi walau lam yahfadhuh. The people of the Qur'an are those who act upon it, even if they haven't memorized it. I ask Allah to make us from them. Jazakumullah khair. Sallallahu wa sallam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.